In this DaVinci Resolve tutorial, I'll show you how to create glitch effects perfect for transitions, text, or just adding a glitchy overlay to your footage. As you can see, I've already set up a basic timeline with some videos, music, and sound effects from Artlist. If you also want high quality stock footage, music, sound effects, and so much more, check out the link down in the description. The first effect I'm going to show you how to create is an RGB Split. To do this, add an adjustment clip from the Effects tab and drag this onto the timeline. It will automatically create a new track if you don't have one. Then you just need to trim it down to the length that you want your glitch effect to last for. I'm going to be using this as a transition between these two clips, and so I'm just going to make sure I have a couple of frames either side of that cut. Once you've trimmed it down, right click on the adjustment clip and select Open in Fusion page. Once the clip is open in the Fusion page, select the Media in 1 node and add a transform node. Then go up to the settings in the inspector and change the process to just be one of the color channels of red, green or blue. Depending on which one you select, you'll get different outcomes. I'm going to just leave the red channel visible. Then in controls, you can change the X and Y position to offset that color channel and change the edge from canvas to mirror. And this will just extend that layer out so it doesn't have that edge where there is no red channel. In order to give this some glitchy movement, start keyframing the X and Y controls. I'm going to start at the point where the video clips cut, and so I'm going to put these to some higher values, start keyframing, and then move a couple of frames forward and a couple of frames backwards and change the values down to being back in the middle. Then you can return to the edit page and see how that looks. The next effect I'll show you how to make is a displacement glitch effect. To create this, add a new adjustment clip. Much like before, trim it down to the length that you want it to be. I'm again going to be using this as a transition, so I'm going to go to the clips where I want it to cut and make sure I have a couple of frames to play with either side of that. And then once again, like before, open it in the Fusion page. As we're wanting to displace the footage, we're going to need to add a displace node. And to do this, select the Media In node and press Shift and Space, and then search for Displace. Now we need something to drive this displacement effect. And so deselect the Displace node, and then press Shift and Space again, and search for Fast Noise. Take the output from this node and put it into the green handle of the displacement. I've set this up so on the left we can see what the noise is, and on the right we can see the footage output. With the fast noise selected, you can see that if you change the detail and the scale, you can change how big the noise is. So I'm just going to increase the scale value and increase the detail. Then if we come down to the displacement and we change the refraction strength, you can see that the clouds made by the fast noise are impacting the footage that is being passed into the displacement node. This doesn't look very glitchy though, because it looks like clouds. And to change this, select the fast noise node, press Shift Space, and search for JPEG damage. Add this node. Then I'm going to increase the quality and the resolution, and this will give it more of a blocky look. You can also change the aspect ratio of these blocks. Currently it's just displacing the clip at all times, whereas we want this to phase in and phase out. And to do this we need to keyframe the refraction strength. However, I would quite like to have control over both the X and Y refraction rather than using this radial type. So to do that, change the type from radial to X and Y, and this will now give you controls over X refraction and Y refraction. So go to the point where you want your glitch to be in full swing and increase the refraction strength. Then start keyframing these values. Then go a couple of frames before and a couple of frames after and set these values back down to 0. And as you can see, we now have this glitch that happens here. You can then go through and add a couple of anomaly frames once again just to keep that glitchy look going. You can then pair this up with the RGB Split effect that I showed you how to create earlier to create some even more cool looks. As these have been created on adjustment clips, you can move them around in the timeline and it will automatically update to add that effect over whatever video the effect is on top of. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then please leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or tutorial suggestions, then please let me know in the comments below. Hope to see you next time. Goodbye.